So there's currently a 2023 Mazda CX-50. Be that as it may, there's as yet a CX-5. Furthermore, they're both reduced SUVs that offer similar motors and are just about $1,000 separated. Okay, then, so what do you coexist with that zero in the name? Indeed, albeit both in fact have a place with the minimal SUV portion, the CX-5 is on the little end, while the CX-50 is one of the greater contributions. Outwardly, where the CX-50 measures a significant 6.7 inches longer and 3.1 inches more extensive than its kin, and is an inch higher off the ground. Those don't actually mean a bigger inside. You'll find secondary lounge legroom and freight space basically something similar. All things being equal, those bigger aspects bring about the CX-50 inclination more significant and refined, and a smidgen more like a moderate-size SUV. The Chevy overcoat is comprehensively equivalent. The additional ground leeway likewise addresses the CX-50's more rough capacities, which working together with an exceptional for Mazda rough terrain drive mode, make it more fit for handling unpaved streets. Fundamentally, it's better for going on lengthy street outings to outdoorsy places to get away. Simultaneously, the CX-50 is each bit the drawing-in, driver-centered vehicle to drive as the CX-5 and each other Mazda. It's likewise comparatively lavish, flaunting raised materials quality and a classy moderate plan stylish with a couple of additional points to a great extent to relate with the CX-50's somewhat more rough energy. Disadvantages: the handle and show infotainment framework will not be for everybody, regardless of whether Apple CarPlay and Android Auto can be worked by contact, and tech contributions in everyday aren't so hearty as those of certain opponents. Mazda likewise doesn't offer a half-and-half form, however couple of contenders can match its strong super motor update. Altogether, we think the Mazda CX-50 is more engaging than the CX-5, which was at that point one of our top smaller SUVs. Turns out 50 is for sure more prominent than 5. What's happening for 2023? The CX-50 is an all-new model for 2023. The more tough Meridian version will be added midway through the model year. Mazda likewise expanded costs by $800 toward the beginning of August, which is reflected in our estimating segment underneath. What are the CX-50 inside and in-vehicle innovation like? The inside plan is reliable with the remainder of the Mazda line, however the blockier, upstanding air vents add a somewhat more solid energy predictable with the outside. Materials quality is also raised, with cushioned, delicate touch surfaces and excellent switchgear. Super trim levels get delicate and persuading mimicked cowhide on the scramble and entryways with contrast sewing in a one-of-a-kind bungle design. It'll be elusive a more pleasant lodge than this for the cash. Everything except the base CX-50 accompanies a 10.25-inch widescreen show. Most capabilities, including choosing a radio broadcast, settling on a Bluetooth telephone decision or working the route framework, are finished with the control handle and supporting menu buttons on the mid-control area. This for the most part functions admirably and helps keep your eyes out and about. Be that as it may, the standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto network can be a major agony to work with a handle and show framework, so Mazda presently permits those to be worked with touchscreen capacity. Be that as it may, just for Apple Android, nothing else. It's a nice split the difference, yet we just own it will not be for everybody, and it's likewise a remarkable reach to the touchscreen. Another potential innovation setback is the checks. While the focal measure is a screen that can change its plan and give data, it's intrinsically little and flanked by simple checks. We're conservatives who like antiquated measures, yet we realize there'll be those who'll like the large, brilliant full-width contributions of Kia, Hyundai and Nissan. The CX-50 is perhaps of the greatest reduced SUV outwardly, yet entirely just a normal measured one inside. Fault, or thank, the more extended front end and general extents expected to focus on and all the more outwardly engaging little SUV. There's actually nothing tantamount in the ordinary minimized SUV portion, however the beginning GV70 comes close in the extravagance domain. The Chevy code is somewhat close, by the same token. Eventually, however, the CX-50 offers a lot of family-accommodating legroom. You'll in any case track down in excess of a Toyota RAV4, for example. Freight space is just a smidge better than the CX-5 at 31.4 cubic feet, which can deal with this much stuff in its freight region, yet that figure actually makes it significantly less capable at pulling stuff than the RAV4, Honda CR-V, Hyundai Tucson and, all things considered, most minimal SUVs as of now. Additionally, regardless of the CX-50's outside experience mission, it just has flush rooftop rails versus the more able and adaptable raised rooftop rails found on other open-air adventure SUVs like the Kia Sportage X line, Toyota RAV4 Experience and each Subaru Outback. What are the CX-50 mileage and execution specs? The CX-50 accompanies precisely the same powertrain choices as the CX-30 and CX-5, including its standard 6-speed program transmission and all-wheel drive framework. The standard motor is a 2.5-liter inline-4 that produces 187 pull and 186 pound-feet of force. It returns 24 mpg city, 30 mpg interstate and 27 mpg consolidated. This is tantamount to the likewise controlled Subaru Outback and Kia Sportage. The discretionary motor is a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-4 flaunting 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of force. It's really great for 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet. Would it be a good idea for you need to siphon in 93 octane? Not many conservative SUVs offer a presentation redesign by any means, not to mention something that's solid. Mileage tumbles to 23/29/25, which is somewhat better compared to the CX-5 with a similar motor. Sadly, Mazda doesn't offer a CX-50 crossbreed. How's the CX-50 to drive? The CX-50's more extended and more extensive impression causes it to feel more significant and established out and about than the CX-5 and other smaller SUVs. It feels a touch more like a fair-size model, particularly with the super motor, and hence will make a more joyful roadway cruiser. It likewise grandstands Mazda's regular fixation on guaranteeing the essential controls and generally vehicle elements act in a characteristic, prompt, and basically, extraordinary way. Indeed, even the movable drive settings are customized to guarantee the CX-50 acts and feels predictable, paying little mind to conditions or driving circumstance, rather than attempting to cause it to act like 5 distinct vehicles with generally unique guiding and choke reactions. We sincerely concur with this methodology. On the off chance that there's a more charming conservative SUV to drive, we can't imagine it. Or on the other hand, it's an undeniably more costly extravagance model. The super motor choice produces undeniably more strong speed increase than is regularly presented in the minimized portion. Once more, here's where the CX-50 is more similar to a midsizer. Its choke and transmission reaction are likewise right on the money. We have not gotten an opportunity to test the base motor, yet taking into account the CX-50 really gauges equivalent to the CX-5, which we have driven with the base 2.5, it ought to be completely adequate and have similar, better than expected reactions. Concerning its open-air experience status, the CX-50 will not be slithering any stones, however is appropriate for the back roads that most hybrid SUV proprietors will undoubtedly utilize. Its 8.6 crawls of ground freedom with the Super, or 8.3 with the base motor, is more prominent than normal, however shy of Subaru's Forester and Outback. We likewise found the CX-50's rough terrain mode makes an honorable showing of guaranteeing footing on inexactly pressed soil, both on steep slopes and higher speed corners. What other Mazda CX-50 audits can I read? 2023 Mazda CX-50 First Drive Survey. We bring a more profound plunge into the CX-50's designing, plan and why Mazda did how they made a little SUV more qualified toward the North American market. We likewise get it grimy 2023 Mazda CX-50 Inside Audit. A profound jump into the CX-50's profoundly noteworthy inside. 2023 Mazda CX-50 Meridian Release Subtleties. The most tough variant of the new CX-50, which will show up later in the model year. Here's beginning and end. You want to be familiar with it. What is the 2023 CX-50's cost? Valuing for the CX-50 beginnings at $28,025, including the $1,225 objective charge. All-wheel drive is standard, and the super motor redesign is achieved by choosing one of 3 trim levels. There are no choices other than paint tones. The CX-50 is irrefutably at its ideal and most aggressive when outfitted with the super motor. In the event that you're considering the CX-50 an option in contrast to extravagance vehicles or fair-size SUVs, which is absolutely really smart, going with the Super is the best approach. It's likewise the way that you get the two-tone cowhide and sewing displayed in the photographs above. In any case, the base motor ought to give above and beyond capacity to most, and assuming that is good with you, we begin your hunt with the S-favored bundle. Its power driver seat, warm seats and power liftgate would be hard to live without. Cowhide seats appear on the S Premium in all super trims. The Meridian Release, nitty-gritty above, incorporates off-road Falcon tires wrapping 18-inch dark haggles outside decals. It likewise comes standard with the super motor. The Safari rack, sprinkle watchman and rocker board embellish that are presented above are remembered for the Meridian's $1,235 peak bundle, or in the $1,899 Meridian Decision bundle accessible on other trim levels. What are the CX-50 well-being evaluations and driver help highlights? Each CX-50 incorporates forward crash advance notice and programmed crisis slowing down with passerby discovery, vulnerable side and back cross traffic advance notice, regularly discretionary, path takeoff cautioning and path keeping help, a driver mindlessness cautioning framework and versatile journey control, frequently discretionary. Mazda's ACC does exclude path focusing controlling help at speed, yet does in go back and forth traffic.